I'd be totally down to do something like that. But from the podcast, how that got refreshed was, I guess it was the Outlaw Radio show with Bear and Kumbo. They were doing an outing, and I guess it was somebody they had with them was down there lifting her shirt up at the tree line, and they figured she was flashing them. But what she was doing was lifting her shirt up to show that she wasn't hiding a gun to make them more comfortable, I guess. Sort of trying to build trust there. No gun, no danger. Sort of a show of respect, I guess, really. Because I wouldn't even want to get close to one if I had a gun on. I've taken it off before, maybe once. Usually, I think the one time, like when I was sitting on the side of the hill and there was the thumping, and it would move towards me, and then it would move away, and then it would move towards me. It was very heavy thumping. Not like in the sense of what was running away from me, but it was in the sense of something punching the crap out of the ground. And I took the gun out, holding it out, removed the bullets, put them in the container I have for them, and put it back in the holster, and started walking down into the brush with that thing where it was at. Never did see anything. It was wintertime, very cold. Well, that day was pretty nice, but it had been very cold. And that was after a day of walking around. I was pretty depressed because I had been coming up there. You just don't get anything. I guess this is probably really the only form of stress management that I have. It's just kind of pathetic, I guess. And when you keep coming back so often and you don't get anything, it wears me out, because you spend so much time and effort and money doing it, and then you go like a half dozen times, and either they aren't there, or you're always wondering if they aren't there, or if they're just ignoring you. But at the end of that day, being so down, I was blasting some music through this phone, which can be pretty loud. You start hearing it. You could hear it over the phone, which was right up next to my face. And you could almost feel it sometimes, like in the air, like the concussion off of it. Sweating. It's really humid up here. Really humid. But that'll really turn your day around when something like that happens. Obvious activity. Letting you know. I think that was the day that I found the tree that was bent down, that pretty good sized tree, bent down at a 90-degree angle. Same day, yeah, actually it was, because I was down there, I was getting really pissed off, trying to get through all that stuff to see if I could figure out a way to get around the little lake, whatever you want to call it, that the beavers made. I remember I was really frustrated down there thrashing around and throwing shit all over the place. And then I came up and went walking up the road like I normally do. Turned around and started coming back. And on my way back, that's when the thumping started happening. And the thumping was happening probably not that far from where I was down there thrashing around. Because, that creek, that pond kind of runs out. And then the road snakes around it. And that's where it's at. It's a lot more open back in here than I remember. One day, I don't know when, I'm going to be walking through the woods, And I'm going to find one of those containers that I'm going to absolutely crap my pants. One of those flatware, really high fancy quality food bowl things. I'll find one day. And that'll be amazing. I guess I should go up. I see a tree down over there, and sometimes this can be hard to get around. Looks like there's been some movement through here too, which usually makes things easier because as the animals walk through, they'll use the same trail over and over again, and they sort of knock stuff out of the way for you. I just got quiet. Nothing's happening. Just getting... I do try to hold this thing up at a decent angle. I realize that it does get... like, because I can't really see the screen, because I'm just holding it. There's some digging going on right there. Right there too. Pull my pants up. I'm wearing sweatpants. I have to be one of the only people that go out here doing this stuff. I'm just wearing sweatpants. Excuse me. Wearing sweatpants. Man, sweating like a pig. That's a big old tree. You know, I've wondered if being up here in the springtime when all the animals are out, you know, there's animals all over the place, deer and whatnot. If, you know, running up on these animals constantly like I have been, I'm not seeing any yet, which I've only been walking for maybe 30 minutes or so. Or at least it seems like 30. It's probably more like an hour. Do it again. Just heard rock clacking. That's the first time I've ever heard it like that. It just right up the hill up here. I'm going to keep the phone aimed away. I'm just going to stand here for a few minutes. sounded like, if you've ever seen the sort of hollow. It's an instrument, but it's like 2 sticks, and they're pretty thick. They're about yay thick. Look down the camera, and it makes like a tapping sound when you knock them together, like almost like a hollow clacking sound. I don't know what you would call those, but it was 8. There were 8 of them. I just counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's what it sounded like. It's not a woodpecker. I don't think it's something that has anything to do with wood. Sweating like a pig. Something bipedalist had mentioned. I mean, this was my experience too. The frequency of the taps or the knocks or something, it'll be faster than what you could possibly do. I mean, it's just so fast. I mean, just like a machine gun. Sometimes. I mean, sometimes obviously it's just one at a time. It's pretty slow. I guess there's not much point in just standing here.